Hi. Okay, so I did my interview with Marty Mucci. He is the president and CEO of Paychex. I currently work there, so it was kind of interesting to actually meet him in person and to get his insight on a couple of things. So, the background of Paychex, it was founded in 1971 by Thomas Golisano with only $3,000 in his pocket. And he is currently, he is the founder of the Tom Golisano Children's Hospital in Rochester, so that's pretty cool. The corporate headquarters for Paychex is in Rochester, New York, more specifically on Panorama Trail in Penfield. I used to work at that building, but my department got switched over to another one. It's really nice in there, as corporate headquarters should be. Paychex does payroll, human resources, retirement, and insurance for many clients. We have about 605,000 clients. We don't do all of those products for all of them, but we do payroll for, I'm going to say 99% of them. Paychex is also 2018 World's Most Ethical it's on the 2018 World's Most Ethical Company list. The Tectonic Awards of 2016, they won that as well. The Nelson Hall Neat Leader Payroll Services in 2018. Brandon Hall 2017 Gold Excellence in Technology Awards. Paychex Flex was named Best HR Outsourcing for Small Businesses in 2017. And they're number 14 on Training Magazine, the list of the top 125 training organizations for 2018 as well. So Marty Mucci, he is the president and CEO currently of Paychex. He has been the president since 2010. He received his bachelor's in accounting from St. John Fisher College, which is located in Rochester. He received his MBA from Rochester Institute of Technology as well. He was president of Frontier Communications before coming to Paychex. He was the president up until 2001. He became vice president of operations of Paychex after that in 2002 through 2010. And then in 2010, he was president and CEO of Paychex. And he has been president and CEO ever since. From his perspective, some of the successes and challenges that he had while working both at Paychex and at Frontier were when he worked at Frontier, the number of calls that were missed were about 25%. So, number of calls meaning if they're going to come out to your house on a Friday, and they said between this time, between like 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. they were going to come out. And they missed 25% of those kind of calls, which obviously leads to bad service and people not liking the company at all. So when he became CEO, he decided to build a team and to bring that 25% of missed calls down to about 5% within the first year of being there. So he built a team, they figured out a way to accomplish this goal, and they measured it every day to make sure that only 5% of the calls were being missed. He said that improved within about a year of him being CEO. So he said he reflected on that a lot as one of the biggest challenges and successes of his career so far, as well as when he became CEO of Paychex around 2009 and 2010 when the recession was going on. Paychex's revenue had slowed down and was stagnant at about $2 billion. So when he became CEO, he did something similar as when he was CEO of Frontier. He built a team, they started a game plan, and they decided to work towards $3 billion within 5 years. He did make that goal. We did make that goal. I think it was last year we made that goal of $3 billion, which I thought was pretty cool. He also said working on things that are broken is more fun, and then you learn more from the experience of fixing it. So working on things like the problem at Frontier and the stagnant revenue of Paychex was something that he enjoyed, because if something is super easy, you don't learn anything from it, obviously. So if there are challenges in the workplace or goals that you need to meet, those are obviously more fun and more you learn more from those experiences than you would just, sitting at your desk typing away or having no problem with anything at all. So, let's see, to hire or not to hire. So when he said when he's looking for people to hire or just through his experience going through his career as well, he said it's good to have a good financial background and good financial understanding. So like of the finance concentration, so like economics, marketing, finance, accounting, things like that. It's good to have a basic knowledge of all of that and to understand all of like the financial stuff or just like the financial statements, the income statement, balance sheets of a company. It's good to know those things if you want to move up. He said also to broaden your scope of knowledge within the company. So like right now, for example, I work in accounts receivable, but if I wanted to move around to different departments to 401k or, like accounts payable, things like that, it would be more beneficial for me to do that than to just move up within accounts receivable because I would learn more about the company and learn more about the products like 401k, for example, or HRS, which is our human resources product for our clients. It would be more beneficial for me to learn more products and more and things like that. So instead of just moving up within my department and only having a knowledge of that department, it doesn't look very good in his eyes. It's a lot easier to hire someone who knows a little bit about everything. So, so moving up within your department isn't always best. It may be easier, but it may not always be best to get a broad knowledge of everything within the company is something that he looks for when hiring anyone. So there's that. So growth. He said when it comes to growth within Paychex, he's always looking to innovate. So innovate with technology or innovate our products, see what new products we can come up with and things like that, or they like work on our Paychex app. And compared to ADP, our Paychex app, at least in his opinion, of course, is better. It has more versatility and it's just easier to understand. Sell as much as possible, so obviously get our sales reps out into the give them the knowledge and the tools to be able to sell products to potential customers and to sign with us instead of the competition. Updating technology. So if you go on like our website or go on the app, you can always chat with someone, like kind of IM in a way, because people nowadays, they don't want to call someone, leave a voicemail, play phone tag, that kind of thing, or just be on the phone at all. They'd rather just go on the website, look up the information themselves, and if needed, they can just sit there and chat with someone. I know a lot of other companies do that too. But we have online chats. They're always looking into like the chat bots, as he's called them, looking into it with IT to come up with different ways to make that more helpful to our clients. So they can look things up, make 30-second videos about how to look up where they can find their W-2s and things like that. So also accommodating what the market wants. So you can come up with as many products and as many technical things as you want, but if the if the market doesn't go in that direction and isn't looking at things and for things similar to those, then you creating them is kind of obsolete and they're just not worth it, So always looking at which way the market's going to go and trying to accommodate to that will better suit Paychex and suit the customers that we're trying to retain and just keep in general. So long-term versus short-term, he talked a little bit about things like when he's thinking about revenues and thinking about how he wants to either put money towards wages or money towards creating new products or money towards IT or things like that. So there is one big innovative thing that Paychex is doing. In Henrietta, which is in Rochester, it's a suburb of Rochester. Excuse me. They purchased the buildings in this one specific area, and it's going to be a Rochester campus of Paychex, basically. And he talks about how buying those buildings instead of renting them is a better investment because he wants to expand on employees within Rochester and expand on employees in general within Paychex. And they decided that it was a better investment to buy the buildings instead of rent them long term. So right now, right near the building that I work at, they are renovating and constructing new roadways to get into the building and around it and things like that, and then just working on the buildings. It used to be a Verizon building. Verizon used to be in the building that is going to be like the main building. So they're like they're renovating that and things like that. So we can have like a campus, and so most of the Rochester employees can be at that one spot. It'll be. He was very excited about it, and he even asked me, he's like, oh, how's traffic over there? Do you like the little coffee bar we have? I told him traffic was terrible. I wanted to be honest with him because it was, and I felt like if I was honest, then, it would just be better off later on, and he can actually like work to get that situated and, find ways to work on that, because if there's going to be so many employees over there, traffic's gonna be a pain. I mean, some of them are moving in now, and it's terrible. So, but yeah, they have like little coffee bars around, and those are really nice. Those are fun. But I don't know. I'm excited for the campus to be around. So they're gonna have little walkways and things like that. So it's gonna be really cool. But he was saying how the best way to he's talking about like revenues and prioritizing. He's always thinking about like, well, if you do this, if you put wages over here or put money over here towards wages, then you have to like even out how you're gonna put that stuff towards like the products and like innovating those things. It's basically just like how much you want to, how much the profits are, and then like how much you want to put towards certain things. So how to keep and then like how to keep expenses down. He told me a story about how when Mr. Golisano was still more involved with Paychex, he's on the executive board right now, but he's not like, president, CEO, or anything like that. But he's still on the executive board of the company. But he told me a story how Mr. Golisano would like take random invoices from vendors and just, go through them and like look and see why we're paying so much for, certain things. He said how he looked at an invoice. Mr. Golisano looked at an invoice from one of the branches in, Florida, and asked how many carpets like into the building there were, like the carpets where you like wipe your feet off if it's snowing kind of thing. But there he said, he's like, I don't know, maybe like six, 3 doors, 2 carpets each, that kind of thing. And he's like, well, how much do you think those cost? And Mr. Mucci said, maybe $200. And then Mr. Golisano said, well, then why are we paying $600 for this? So he would always find little ways to, bring costs down and, spend less. I told Mr. Mucci he reminded me of my dad because he does that too, nickel and dime everything, but that's how you make your money and keep it. So but things like that, just going over financials and finding ways to either cut costs or move things around so everything works out the best way. Overall, Mr. Mucci talked about, broadening your horizons and learning as much as you can within a company and how it looks better on a resume, and that's what he looks for in hiring someone who has a broader range of knowledge about the company, more so than someone who has just moved up within their department. They'll know more about what makes the company work better and understand, the benefits of how we do things within the company instead of just moving up within one department and only having knowledge about that department. He also talked about good basic knowledge of all the business disciplines like economics, finance, accounting, and things like that. It's always beneficial to um, look at, whether we're looking at the finances of a company like balance sheets, income statements, things like that, or just understanding, customer service and things like that. He said one of the things that he wished he did earlier on in his career was go into sales because he had been mostly in operations his entire career. So he said that people should be in sales at least once in their life to understand. He said it's hard. It doesn't seem hard at first to sell, a product, but he's like, you have to talk to the people about it. You have to try and convince them that this product is the right one for them and not to go with like another company or something, and, look at incentives and things like that. And it's really difficult to convince someone that your company is the best company. So he said that he would have gotten into sales sooner in his career than he did. He said he got into sales about 10 years in. So, something to think about, at least with like me and everything. I told my coworkers that, and they're like, that's not bad advice. But he's always looking to innovate products and think outside the box. Our biggest competitor is ADP, and they have similar products than ours, but we have a better service model, in Mr. Mucci's opinion. So basically thinking outside the box and always trying to innovate our products and come up with better, things on our Paychex app or online, trying to help the customer understand where things are on the website and things like that, whether it's through like a 30-second video saying this is how you do this, or like one of those chat bots he was talking about, things like that. So always trying to innovate products and think of outside of the box. And one of the other things I took away from this is when there are challenges within the workplace, with like his Frontier example, and with we're trying to reach $3 billion within 5 years. He said both times he built a team, he made a plan, and then they executed that plan and measured how far the plan had gotten regularly. So doing things like that will always work in your favor, and always doing things like that will work in your favor and get you where you want to go in your career and within the company. So, thank you.